Welcome back, everyone. Good evening. Today is Wednesday. Got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. Let me just get everything confirmed here. I do have to make one small change because, well, basically it's just audio. We have a Trump announcement expected to happen actually really soon. It's going to happen at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. He posted this yesterday saying that this would happen, so that's literally right now. I don't know for sure if we do have anything yet, and, well, he picked the perfect time. We're going to review that live, if that does indeed happen. Oh, he's actually talking. Okay. oh boy, what is this going to be about? Bitcoin's current price is 86,000 flat. Let's go ahead and review what Trumpy Wumpy says about the markets. He's going to talk about Bitcoin, right? Hold on, let me just get audio set up here. I know I'm starting this off in a bit of a different way. Just bear with me, yeah? Hopefully I don't get copyright claimed or something. Dude, why is this so quiet? Come on. When do you actually start talking? Alright, here. It's pretty quiet. Or maybe my audio is quiet. It's actually like so quiet.
11 months ago.
No, come on. Alright, here we go. He starts with 11 months ago.
America, 11 months ago, I inherited a mess.
Pause. Okay, I'm sorry. Why? First of all, every time that these guys start desktop audio, I'm going to boost this up by like 10 dB because it's that quiet. They're always so quiet. The White House always making it so quiet. I hope it doesn't sound bad. I don't know.
I'm fixing it.
Okay, restart.
I inherited a mess, and I'm fixing it. When I took office, inflation was the worst in 48 years, and some would say in the history of our country, which caused prices to be higher than ever before, making life unaffordable for millions and millions of Americans. This happened during a Democrat administration, and it's when we first began hearing the word affordability.
That's facts.
Our border was open, and because of this, our country was being invaded by an army of 25 million people, many who came from prisons and jails, mental institutions, and insane asylums.
I thought it was 10 million.
Gang members, and even 11,888 murderers, more than 50% of whom killed more than one person. This is what the Biden administration allowed to happen to our country, and it can never be allowed to happen again. We had men playing in women's sports, transgender for everybody, crime at record
Get to the point.
With law enforcement and words
Announce a war.
Just absolutely forbidden. We had the worst trade deals ever made, and our country was laughed at from all over the world. But they're not laughing anymore. Over the past 11 months, we have brought more positive change to Washington than any administration in America.
Okay, before this is what we're expecting, okay? There is market anxiety right now. A possibility of Venezuela situation is rising. We think that he's going to declare a war on Venezuela. That is why I am also trying to review this live at the same time. This is a whole mess, but wow. Also just came back from something important. It's crazy today. He also mentioned that right after he said he would be giving an address to the nation tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, he did order a complete blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers going in and out of Venezuela. They were dropping the price of oil here to all-time lows, not all-time lows, lowest level since February 2021, basically, $55 a barrel. Meanwhile, he's pushing for gas prices to fall below $2 a gallon, which he's kind of been able to achieve at some point. Another thing that's happened is, well, because of that blockade to Venezuela that was announced yesterday, today oil prices were surging and natural gas prices as well. Rumors were circulating that tonight's announcement will have something to do with Venezuela, but it's not confirmed. Let's go back and review what that is. You'll be addressing the nation. Although some sources, just saying this, I want to say this before we actually review the video, they've confirmed, or they claim, their sources, that Trump will announce a war with Venezuela tonight in his address to the nation. Keep in mind, he did also say that they're making weapons of mass destruction. Although that's not nuclear weapons, it's definitely the fentanyl, because he's saying that fentanyl kills like more than what any bomb would kill, which I guess that's kind of facts, but I don't know about labeling it like that. Reportedly expected to announce plans to launch a war with Venezuela. Let's see. Yeah, it's basically what I've said over here. I'm not going to wait on this for too long, so we'll review the rest of that later. What else does Trump say?
There's never
speed this up?
anything like it, and I think most would agree. I was elected in a landslide, winning the popular vote and all 7 swing states and everything else, with a mandate to take on a...
I'm behind 5 minutes. Dude, get to the point. Just say war with Venezuela.
Fought only for years. The United States was ruled by politicians who fought only for insiders, illegal aliens, career criminals, corporate lobbyists, prisoners, terrorists, and above all, foreign nations, which took advantage of us at levels never seen before. They flooded your cities and towns with illegal aliens. They decimated your hard-earned savings. They indoctrinated your children with hate for America.
Okay.
Really, I mean, they just...
Come on, Trump.
They caused war, globe.
Oh, war?
They caused a horrible situation all over the globe. But now you have a president who fights for the law-abiding, hardworking people of our country, the ones who make this nation run, who make this nation work. And after just 1 year, we have achieved more than anyone could have imagined.
Okay.
Starting on day 1, I took immediate action to stop the invasion of our...
This is just self-glazing or what?
Joe Biden said that he needed
And
Congress and
point fingers at Joe Biden.
As it turned out, we didn't need legislation. We just needed a new president.
Okay. You guys can watch the whole thing on your own. I'm going to be pausing and skipping forward. I want to get to the sauce.
And we quickly turned it into the strongest border in the history of our country. In other words, we're deporting criminals. We see
totally.
At levels of safety that we've never seen before.
Yeah, very safe.
All by ourselves with our people, and we're so proud of it. Because
good.
By ocean and by sea are now down 94%.
What are we talking about here?
Destroying our population.
Oh, the fent.
Brought in by ocean and by sea are now down 94%.
Congrats.
We have broken the grip of sinister woke radicals in our schools, and control over those schools is back now in the hands of our great and loving states, where education belongs. After rebuilding the United States military in my first term, and with the addition we are adding right now, we have the most powerful military anywhere in the world, and it's not even close.
No doubt.
I've restored American strength, settled 8 wars in 10 months, destroyed the Iran nuclear threat, and ended the war in Gaza, bringing for the first time in 3,000
That being said, we're going to start a new war with Venezuela.
years, peace to the Middle East, and secured the release
Bitcoin's not moving yet.
Both living and dead. Here at home, we're bringing our economy back from the brink of ruin. The last administration and their allies in Congress looted our treasury for trillions of dollars, driving up prices and everything at leveling them down.
Announce the war.
Fast. Let's look at the facts. Under the Biden administration, car prices rose 22%, and in many states...
This is affordability stuff. La 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 la. What are we talking about here? Food price. Okay, good. I guess he's just like flexing on the haters. Yeah, guys, we are working with affordability. We're dropping the food prices.
You will see in your wallets and bank accounts in the new year, after years of...
And you're getting the...
falling incomes, our policies are boosting...
You're also getting the stimmy check coming soon. Wage gains.
At a historic pace. Under Biden, real wages plummeted by faster than inflation. Just look at it. Wages are going up much faster than inflation.
Good.
How big is that?
Announce the war.
The private sector. Think of that. 100% of all jobs have been in the private sector rather
Dude, we also have jobs data, by the way, that we'll be discussing after this, because that came out yesterday and it moved the markets a little.
than government, which is the only way to make a country powerful and great. This historic trend will continue. Already, I've secured a record-breaking $18 trillion of investment into the United States, which
That's a lot of money.
wage increases,
You could wipe out half the U.S. national debt.
far greater national security.
18 trillion.
Much of this success has been accomplished by tariffs. My favorite word.
Yes, your favorite word, our favorite fear, of course, the tariffs. You're gonna ruin your crypto portfolio.
Used successfully by other countries against us, but not anymore. Companies
Announce the war.
we haven't seen, AI, automobiles, we're doing what nobody thought was even possible.
Say
not
crypto.
even remotely possible. There has never
It's rising.
been anything like it. 1 year ago, our country was dead. We were absolutely dead.
Seems like the crypto bros are liking this announcement.
Failed. Totally failed. Now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world.
Because he is mainly talking about the economy here. That's what I've noticed so far. And what is this? Econ? Text econ? Economy?
And that's said by
245470. Is that a coincidence? President 45 and 47 of United States. Interesting.
you will also see the results of the largest tax cuts in American history that were really accomplished through our great, big, beautiful bill, perhaps
Yep.
the most different bills up into one.
Okay.
And no tax on Social Security.
And tips.
Between $11,000 and $20,000 a year. And next spring is projected to be the largest tax refund season of all time.
Huge. Okay, get to the war.
I'm also proud to announce
A new war.
more than 1,450,000. Think of this: 1,450,000 military service members will receive a special we call warrior dividend before Christmas. So,
Oh, so the U.S. soldiers are getting some money.
warrior dividend. In honor of our nation's founding in 1776, we are sending every soldier $1,776.
That is interesting. So the 1776, I guess that's what Constitution or America was formed. Am I right or wrong about that? I don't know. I'm assuming, yeah, that's when they declared independence. They're getting that amount of money, the U.S. soldiers, 1,776.
Think of that. And the checks are already on the way.
Oh, you think they're going to buy crypto with that? I think that's why we're rising right now, dude. Buy the news event. No real oversold opportunity, dude. We're in a downtrend. There's no point on buying this thing. Did you see even what happened? We'll talk about the price action. This is a biggest scam ever. But yeah, like I said, we'll talk about that.
Nobody understood that one until about 30 minutes ago. We made a lot more money than anybody thought because of tariffs, and the bill helped us along. Nobody deserves it more than our military, and I say congratulations to everybody. And by the
Yeah, like, do you think the military are crypto bros? We hope so. I don't think it's not going to be too much though. But hey, immediate dividend, that's good. Well, yeah, dividend or a stimulus check, so to speak. How many service members did he say there are? How many service members are there in the USA? That is 2.9 million personnel, 3 million, let's just say. Times 1776, that's about $5 billion in total. Yeah, obviously they could afford that if they're taking in $18 trillion in tariffs. Absolutely, dude. No doubt. Can I please go back?
way, we now have record enlistment in our military, and last year we had among the worst recruitment numbers in our military's history.
Good.
Either party has ever done.
What are you going to do with this military, though? Are we going to war?
In addition, I'm doing what no politician of either party has ever done.
Go to war.
Standing up to the special interests to dramatically reduce the price of prescription drugs.
Ah, dude, who cares?
Directly for many decades. 400, 500, and even 600%. In other words, your drug costs will be plummeting downward. And I
There, no need for Obamacare subsidies.
of this giant dollar reduction go. There has never been anything like this in the history of our country. Drugs have only gone up, but now they'll be going down by numbers never conceived possible.
Affordability. Vote Republican.
Encourage your ability to get this
That's basically what I'm getting from this.
done until now. The first of these unprecedented price reductions will be available starting in January through a new website, trumprx.gov. And
It's all under his name.
the
So funny.
gigantic health insurance companies that have got
Predatory.
the money should go to the people. That's you.
Yeah, no more too big insurance companies.
At much lower cost. It will be far better health insurance.
Good.
It was bad health care at much demanded by to the people.
Announce the
so
war.
You can buy your own health care.
Yeah, health care, we know.
People are finally going to be getting great health care at a
Good.
lower the energy restrictions drastically.
Gasoline. Okay, this is another big topic. Yeah, this is interesting. Okay, we slowed down the rise a little. Let me go back to a 15-minute chart. Because I want to see this in action. Gasoline. Flashbang warning, sorry. Okay.
And they drove them up at record levels. Electricity costs surged 30 to 100% under Biden, and the typical family lost $5,000 to $10,000 in higher energy costs. Think of that.
I'm not going to lie, like, investing in crude oil has been painful this year, especially, like, we're basically at very new levels that we haven't seen since 2021, right? That's what was mentioned over here. So
$5,000 to $10,000 you lost.
And I don't know if this Venezuela situation is going to help keep the prices lower. Trump wants those prices lower to get gas under $2 a gallon, right? Your gasoline for your vehicle. And I mean, this blockade over here, who knows? Maybe we'll talk about this whole China situation that links to Venezuela and oil
On day one,
later.
I declared a national energy emergency. Gasoline is now under $2.50 a gallon in much of the country.
Yeah.
In some states, it, by the way, just hit $1.99 a gallon.
Big.
And within the next 12 months, we will have opened 1,600 new electrical generating plants, a record, and it's a record that won't be beaten by practically, I would say, by anybody.
Okay, congrats. Announce a war.
$1,000 under
Mortgage costs.
Democrat rule. In 11 months, we've already the most
Yeah.
housing costs was the colossal border invasion. We have never been invaded.
That's what caused the price increases in houses. Okay.
Migrants and gave them taxpayer-funded housing.
Yeah, why are we giving migrants
And
money?
flooded emergency rooms, getting free health care and education.
No good.
Back
We get it.
before my election, all net creation of jobs was going to foreign migrants. Since I took office,
More native-born employment. That's good.
American born, those taken over the economics of the state and have stolen billions and billions of dollars from Minnesota and indeed from the United States of America. And we're going to put an end to it.
Minnesota.
So long as before my election, the vast majority of good and decent Americans were
Are we talking about Somalians here?
forced to watch as corrupt politicians plundered the halls of power, exploited our taxpayers,
Tim Walz.
every system that makes civilized society function, but not anymore, and you see that every day.
Okay, good.
Prices are down. Our nation is strong. America is respected, and our country is back, stronger than ever before.
Amen.
We will host the World Cup and the Olympics, both of which I got. But most importantly, we will celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence.
I swear that happened like a couple years ago, or maybe I'm mixing it up with Canada. It was probably like 150. How old is Canada? Hold on. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. We had our little pump over here because we liked hearing that the military service members are getting a dividend, and our degenerate brains think, yeah, they're going to dump this into crypto. Obviously. No, obviously not. It's only $5 billion. Who knows? That could like triple the price of Aptos at this point. What was I going to look up? Remind me.
250th anniversary.
Oh yeah, Canada. How old is Canada? Yeah, it's 158 years old. Okay, dude. So it would have been 8 years ago that I remember that Canada celebrated a 150th year. Wow, that's crazy. And how old is the United States? Obviously, it's going to be 250. 249, and 2026 will be 250 because 1776 plus 250 is that number, in case you
Of the
have the IQ of room temperature.
Declaration of Independence, there could be no more fitting tribute to this epic milestone than
to announce a war with Venezuela.
to complete the comeback of America that began just 1 year ago.
Dude, come on. So we didn't get the war announcement. The thing is pretty much over. I sped through it pretty nicely.
When the world looks at us next year, let them see a nation that is loyal to its citizens.
Yeah.
Like we have never been respected, and a happy new year. God bless you all.
Thank you. And that's it. Thank you for joining. I'm going to end the stream now. No, I'm kidding. We've got so much more to talk about. But wow, that took up 20 minutes of our time. And Bitcoin's already dumping. Okay. Okay, Trump. Okay, Trump, we see you. We hear you. What do I make of all that? If what he's saying is true, the economy is getting better. I can't really speak much on the affordability because, I mean, I don't live there in the United States, but you guys should know. Is prices going down? Is Thanksgiving cheaper compared to last year? You know, all that stuff. Up to you guys, up to your judgment. No war with Venezuela. Maybe that's also part of the reason why we're not, like, crashing. I think, like, what if he did say, my fellow Americans, we are announcing a war with Venezuela. Okay, what would happen? Crypto prices would probably drop. We're going to be like, oh no, another war. Here we go again. But hey, looks like all of that was just a bunch of rumors. The stuff that I covered before the speech started. And it looks like we're not going into a war with Venezuela. Or we probably will still, but it's just not, it's not been announced in this one. People thought that it would be announced in this emergency meeting or whatever. It was just more of a, he just bragging, I guess, him just bragging to all of us that, look guys, we're doing great, okay? Tariffs are awesome, and you guys are all getting a stimmy. So there you go. I don't even know if I should continue reading all this stuff, because a lot of it was just speculation. But okay, cool. We got the big stuff out of the way. Trump announcement live. Awesome. What else is new? Okay, we're going to go ahead and talk about Bitcoin and crypto prices. I'm going to disconnect the audio. And I want to play some background music for myself. And not for you guys. It's because I get copyrighted. I've noticed that, I don't know if you guys have noticed this in the past. I used to play music on, throughout the streams. It's, first of all, we don't have the same music taste. I will guarantee you that my music taste is a lot darker, a lot heavier. I don't know. I shouldn't even mention this stuff, but yeah, I don't know. It's not your classical Taylor Swift or songs you'd listen to on the radio, or even Christmas music at this time for that matter, because I don't know. I'm just not like that. And then that's besides the point though. Sometimes I just let Spotify go crazy and have the volume at a very small amount to the point where whenever I'm talking, I have this function where if I talk, it will lower the desktop audio or the computer audio so that my voice comes more clearer as a priority on top of whatever else is playing in the background. You might have just noticed that while I was talking over Trump there. I'm sure Trump doesn't mind. But either way, like YouTube's copyright system would still pick up on like the small bits, or even if it's like at such a quiet decibel, it will still pick it up and copyright strike the whole stream. So what I did instead is I mute the desktop audio. Who cares? You listen to your own music if you want to. I won't force my music taste on you guys, and I'll listen to whatever I want. It's in the background, it's really quiet, and it's not being picked up by the desktop audio nor my microphone, which is just excellent. Or maybe it does get picked up. I don't think it does. Like, it's literally playing. You guys probably don't even hear it, which, great. That's the way things should be. Okay, back to crypto. Nice. So we had a trend flip over against us. What even happened here? This is new. I purchased down here. You guys saw that live. The next day, we had economic data, which made us rise because the economic data was favorable for market conditions. And then we kind of, I don't know, a big volatility over here. Should I go zoom in a little closer? I probably should. If you think I made profit here, I didn't. I made a very small profit. I basically exited at my entry price, right? Let's just say around over here would have been where I entered, I don't know. And I exited around that same price because I put like a stop loss at 87,000. I think that's where I sold. So it would have been there. And yeah, so the volatility that we got at 8:30 a.m. yesterday was due to jobs data that we got. Should I talk about this now? Yeah, let's do it. Okay. Today's job data and this week's CPI will decide Fed policy for 2026. I love how we just finished with our meeting and we're already like, what's going to happen in 2026? Like, dude, just give us a break. Every time it's going to be this narrative of what's going to be in the next FOMC meeting, this economic data. It's just the side effects, the consequences of import the Wall Street, become the Wall Street, and especially in the biggest asset of them all, Bitcoin. Yeah. I feel like it's getting a little bit too manipulated, so whatever. It's not just another data update. It's about where the US economy is heading next. Now, I understand some of the importance, don't get me wrong, because yes, we did have delayed data, and frankly, we didn't even get data for the month of October because of the shutdown. We've been only paying attention to September data, some late data, and the rest of it is all just, delayed, and now it's starting to come out for the month of November. And it's just to kind of see, like, did the Fed do the right thing? Will the Fed do the right thing for the next meeting? How much are we expecting for a rate cut? Are we going to be greedy about it or not? As to what to expect as a market. So, that's the kind of stuff that we are trying to price in. The unemployment rate got released. Market was expecting 4.4%, but it rose actually much higher than that. It came in at 4.6% versus, okay, here conflicting information, 4.5 expected, la la la. Dude, it's both the same thing. We've reached the highest unemployment rate level in 4 years, the highest in 4 years. Whether Jerome admits it or not, the Fed has made a policy mistake. The only path forward is more rate cuts and liquidity injection via quantitative easing, which should be bullish for crypto. Great, that's the kind of stuff that we do want to hear, and markets started rising because of that. The reason why we immediately dropped after that, we ended the 15 minutes during that volatile period in the red and actually kept going lower, dropping to about 86, from about 87 to 86. I'm really close to saying the forbidden numbers. We had that drop because we actually realized, oh, this is actually a lot of unemployment, guys. It's probably not that good, is it? And we don't want the Fed to immediately be like, oh yeah, it's January and we're going to cut rates again, because now markets are going to be like, okay, no, wait, they've actually made a mistake here and the economy is actually doing really bad. And we're going to panic because the economy is doing bad. And who cares about the rate cut that we just got? I feel like that's what's going to happen there. So markets kind of priced it in that way. We kind of recovered from that either way and carried on with our day. We'll talk about this as well. I might as well just go through it, dude. My stream is all over the place today. Just to finish with the subject of the unemployment rate. This is pointing toward a serious danger. This tells us that the US labor market is now weaker than at any point in the last 4 years. Hiring is slowing, growth is losing momentum. I don't know, Trump said something a little different, right? Just now. At the same time, inflation is still around 3%, which is well above the Fed's 2% target. Is that true? I don't think it is. I thought we were like 2.6 or something. Whatever, it's still a little high, which we'll agree. This is the Fed's worst setup. The growth is slowing, but inflation is still high. That's basically the stagflation fears. Here it comes again. Awesome, we love it. If the Fed does not cut rates, the risk of a recession rises quickly. And my 4-year cycle brain a couple months ago was thinking, okay, what's going to be the big excuse for 2026, why we crash? And seeing all this stuff and more or less predicting. I didn't really fully predict everything because I predicted we'd be at 150k plus by now, but obviously we're not there for Bitcoin. What I was predicting is that, yeah, the big excuse is going to be a recession. It's just that, oh, stagflation, recession, everything is going to crash, bubble. Maybe a bubble would be involved in there too, which we've kind of been seeing, but it's so obvious that we're not in a bubble, in my opinion. And it's just annoying to see AI stocks just not perform well because of this whole fear. Like, come on, dude. Anyways. If, okay, a weak labor market combined with high interest rate usually leads to accelerating job losses. But if the Fed does cut rates, inflation could reaccelerate, and we've seen that before. So it's like the Fed is stuck. What do we do? Which one do we save? Which one do we prioritize? It's probably going to have to be the labor market, which means that inflation should start kicking up, which is kind of what we were looking at over here. Inflation is bad if you have to buy stuff, right? The prices of everything go up. Your dollar purchasing power erodes. But if you hold assets that hedge against inflation, like Bitcoin, like gold, like silver, or your favorite metal, those will increase in price as well. And you can use those to sell, to buy food. There you go. That's basically what this leads to, what inflation does. What else? Okay, but if the Fed, yeah, we know. This is just history as to what happened. In 2020, Fed cut rates too aggressively and inflation surged. In 2021, I think it had to do with COVID, but okay. 2022, the Fed was forced to start quantitative tightening and aggressive rate hikes, which is why we kind of entered a bear market during that period in 2022. Now the Fed is trapped between those two mistakes, which is why unemployment data matters so much. The Fed had broadly planned not to cut rates in January. This unemployment spike puts that plan under pressure. Ignore the data, you will risk a recession. If you react too fast, you risk another inflation wave. I'm okay with an inflation wave. Am I really okay though? Because yeah, like, inflation is good. Bitcoin will go up 5%. Congrats. Okay, but so did your grocery prices. So what do we do here? Back then, the Fed hiked interest rates to almost 20% and crushed inflation. But this led to a lost decade, and the S&P had a 0% return from 1970 to 1980. The risk today is similar, but not of that magnitude. Still, the Fed needs to fight this. I love this photo, by the way. It's so good. That's why I like the post. If the Fed focuses on bringing inflation down, there will be a massive crash, followed by a huge rally. I don't know about that. The Fed focuses on bringing inflation down. Yeah, obviously. Okay. I don't think the Fed will do that in what happened in 1970. So more easing is expected in 2026. And what will happen after that is obvious. Everything rises, basically. Okay, talking about what happened here. What happened here? Take a wild guess at what time of the day this happened. Take a wild guess. Not this post. 10 a.m. manipulation is back. Really, it's just US markets open and we get a lot of volatility. That's kind of what I see. Bitcoin jumped at 9:30 a.m. $2,865 from $87,500 to $90,365 in just 30 minutes. The highest point today, yeah, $90,334 is what my chart says. Let me just drag this here. $80 billion was added to the crypto market cap. 106 million worth of shorts were liquidated in that 30 minutes. At 10 a.m., the manipulation starts. Bitcoin drops $4,000, not just the $2,000 that it rose, so it drops even further lower than that, from $90,365 to $86,300 in the next 90 minutes, and dropping. We had a low today of $85,276 overall. Dude, it's pretty obvious. Come on. 130 billion erased from the market cap compared to the 80 billion that was added just minutes before. And 150 million longs liquidated in 1 hour compared to the 106 million of shorts that were liquidated in half the time. So what are we doing here? What's going on? Maybe people do aggressively go too long. That is kind of what I'm noticing here, right? You got more longs liquidated even after the price has risen this much, which means that people see price rise like that. They want to take advantage of the rising momentum. They go max long, 100x. Some make profit, the rest of them don't. The rest of them that didn't get their positions liquidated and cause this huge cascading domino effect on the way downward. And it's just always happening at 10 a.m., which is suspicious. Anyways, that's just the kind of stuff that we've noticed. That being said, well, Bitcoin has now risen from 86,000 to 86,535. Congrats, 0% movement today. In the 4-hour chart, this looks horrific, but we're maintaining ourselves between these two levels, 90,000 and 85,500, right? Support level 1, which is right there, and pivot level. Resistance seems to be non-existent. We're in a downtrend. The only real resistance that I would pay attention to would be Fibonacci 91,352, which should converge with this downtrend line. So we should be fine, I would assume. This would push prices lower. So I don't know, if this is our lower high, which, what do you even call this, dude? Whatever. Even if price rose to like 91, 92,000 and dropped lower, we'd still be in a downtrend. So whatever this volatility spike was doesn't change the fact that we are still in a downtrend. That being said, it could take us to about 83,000. That's kind of where I have my price levels at for a potential entry. And yes, I'm doing the thing again, and I know I shouldn't, but whatever. I need the exposition, okay? Yeah, I'll talk about BitTensor later. So, because I was going to mention something about BitTensor. I got liquidated, okay? Spoiler alert. Nice. Okay, so what to expect here? Bitcoin price drops lower, 83,000. No lower than that, hopefully. Because, man, we need this lower point and whatever low we get over here, if it's around 83,000, to mark kind of our uptrend continuation from here, if that will be the case. Breaking this downtrend line, we will have no more downtrends to worry about for Bitcoin, and 2026 will be an open roof season, if you know what I'm talking about, right? The only roof or barrier, 100,000, which, you know, psychologically everybody wants Bitcoin above 100,000 if you're not Peter Schiff. Okay, wonderful. Let's move on. Huge introduction. Let's get started, am I right? Ethereum. It's on its way down. 2,838. We hit a low of 2,788. So kind of what I predicted here as well. I was saying that this uptrend line was very likely to be broken, which it did. It should have been broken with, you know, whatever this was over here. So downtrend is still in effect. Support level is 2,755. Like I mentioned, we hit a low of 2,788. So not too far off. Maybe that's bottom, maybe not. I do expect Bitcoin to continue dropping though, so maybe we do meet with this level. How likely will we maintain this uptrend though? I don't know, dude. We're in a downtrend, so it's not favorable. But there is strong support here. It's going to be pretty difficult to break it. That's kind of what I'm noticing. Because if we do break it, we're expecting Ethereum to drop another 9% to 2,500, let's just say. I'll mark that level actually. 2,500 as a support. Because it's psychological and it's right next to that support 3 from pivots. So it makes the most sense. It doesn't make sense for Ethereum to drop that low, but sure, whatever. If we are going to drop, that's where I expect it. And I'd still survive in terms of liquidating. But that's a downtrend line that we've got to focus on for now. Invalidates at 3,150 and dropping, so just got to give it some time. Let it do its thing. Let it drop if it has to. Solana, we're at the bottom part of this range zone, whatever you want to call this, lateralization. $123.63. What to do with you, Solana? We're dropping to 116 upon breaking whatever low we just hit over here. This is a local bottom of 120, what is this? 121.55. Why? We hit a lowest point of 121.28. And we are in a downtrend technically. Yeah, I would expect Solana to continue dropping. 116. 117. We'll call it 117. Okay? Potential good entry if Bitcoin does continue dropping. Because, I'm not going to lie, Solana has been maintaining itself pretty flat. Not rising too much, not dropping too much. Just kind of there. Just kind of forgotten. The erosion is real. The inflation, not erosion, But yeah, short term, I think we should be fine. Still, though, down like 3-4%. Same with Ethereum. Zcash is down 4%. Oh, I closed this with a stop loss. Okay, great. I mean, yeah, fair enough. I was hoping that we would bounce and continue higher from here. Or if the trend flips against me, get me out. That's it. Lose the money, get me out. And it seems like that's what happened over here. So I'm out on Zcash. Uptrend invalidated. We're not heading lower. I should have bet on Polymarket that Zcash would not hit $1,000 end of this year. Would have been an easy, dude, I would have only made like $10. Yeah, that's not too bad though. Risking 200, that's terrible actually. You're better off just shorting Zcash at this point if you really don't think it's going to hit 1,000. So, yeah, I don't know. Polymarket's just there for me to look at what other people opine, and maybe if I'm feeling cheeky, I'll throw a risky bet on there. I don't know, if you want the biggest returns, you got to bet against the whole crowd, and you got to be astronomically correct about it. So, Polymarket's weird. Okay. Current price of Zcash 381 and dropping. We had a local bottom of 370 today, $370.69. This could continue dropping to about 338. We're in a downtrend that invalidates at 461, so we've got a lot of room to run. That being said, even if we rise from 383 to 461, a 20% rise, you're still in a downtrend, and you should expect prices to still make a lower low after that. Unless we just miraculously break this, although there'd be no real reason why that should happen just suddenly out of nowhere. We've broken this uptrend pattern, so we've made a new low, a lower low. We're probably next up going to make a higher low and then continue dropping. I don't know. We're not really oversold yet, so I wouldn't rule out the fact that we could just crash another 10%. Absolutely possible for Zcash. That being said, don't short it. I don't know. So, gotta wait and see. Hyperliquid. Oh man, we broke lower than the support level I left it at. 24.80, I think is what I mentioned. Current price is 24.34. We hit a low of 24.13. Let's round that too. Yep. I mean, that was to be expected. I traded this little, if you want to call that a bounce. What even is a bounce anymore? So the downtrend, at least right now, invalidates at 30, subject to change. I don't like this. Hyperliquid is dying, my friends. Is that a good opportunity to buy? Not until we confirm an uptrend. You gotta let it drop, let it do its thing, let it continue lower. Oh no, but you're missing out on buying the lowest price. Price is gonna go lower than that. Whatever you think is the lowest price, it'll go lower, okay? That being said, I don't think you should. You could short, because you're in a downtrend, obviously, hypothetically, but, I mean, you're not gonna short on the lowest price, at the most oversold price. Right now it is oversold. RSI is at 28, so, hey man, who knows? If you're doing spot, great time for DCA. Great, perfect opportunity for that. If you do truly believe in Hyperliquid and its ecosystem, and if you think Hyperliquid is the best decentralized exchange with the highest volume, all those metrics you got to be paying attention to, of course, when you're looking at that. Moving on, SUI. Okay, we flipped the trend over, finally. Not finally. So this is the downtrend that we must pay attention to. It's at 142 currently. The support level is at 140 basically. We hit a low today of 140, so basically around there. Breaking this, it's gonna hurt. 8% drop, 126. I am expecting a drop, by the way, for tomorrow. Same kind of deal. We'll be looking at the whole thing live when it comes to Bank of Japan's interest rate decision. I think we're just gonna drop in anticipation to it. And then maybe it's a buy the news event. Hopefully. We'll see. Who knows? But right now, no chance for longs on anything. Unless you're going on spot. Then it's not really a long, you're just buying. When I say a long, I'm talking about like futures, derivatives. Where you can get liquidated. Because that's what we're here for. We're here to get ourselves liquidated. Why did I move this? Okay. And then, of course, breaking that 140 should take us to... I don't think it would be 126. I think that's too harsh. We'll leave it at 130. Okay, scratch the 126. Okay. So, Moving on to Chainlink, down 4.59%. This is, yeah, lower low. Downtrend is a thing. We were not able to break 15, so we're being punished. 12.25 is the current price. Should drop easily to 11.87. Even if we do, though, the 11.87, and I mentioned this before, if tomorrow is the worst case scenario and it drops that low, I kind of hope it doesn't, but it just might. It looks very likely. We bounce from this level, hopefully, okay, in an ideal situation, which would make Chainlink be in this kind of an uptrend. And, I don't know, maybe we do flip the trend eventually as this thing continues dropping. I don't know why I drew it upwards. It should not go upwards, otherwise that would be weird. You get the trend flip over, and then you start following this uptrend line. Or, I don't know, I don't think it's going to follow it to that extent. It's going to probably start off with that, and then like as price rises and recovers and does its uptrend thing, higher highs, higher lows, until we meet whatever this abomination over here is, $15 again, our greatest enemy. Maybe that would be a good opportunity for buying into here. What was I even talking about? Oh yeah, I was hoping that this would be like the uptrend that we followed, basically, because as long as you don't make a lower low, if we end up dropping below this, yeah, it's going to hurt a lot. I don't know if we're going to go to 1066. I doubt that, because it's a pretty big, extensive drop from breaking that support level. You're talking about Chainlink dropping another 10% after being as oversold as it is. Don't really think that's likely. We're oversold as hard as... no, as bad as it is right now. Is that the right expression? I'm just drawing a bunch of lines, dude. Okay, let me delete all this. Fascinating. So, bounce at this area? Very likely, in my opinion. At the 1187. Sub 12. We'll just leave it at. Okay, that's what I think. Negative funding rate, by the way. BitTensor, you suck. I got liquidated. 9% down today, just out of the blue. And it's a good thing that I didn't go max long on this, because I was about to. I was really tempted to, and I was like, BitTensor was the position that I'm least likely to get liquidated on, or I'm going to lose the least amount of money if I do get liquidated. And, dude, I don't know, maybe I should stop talking or something, because everything I say, it just goes against me. At the end of the day, it is me versus the markets. It went against me really hard, and even if I bought expecting price to maybe hopefully rise to 300 and dropping my average price to maybe around 300, it would have just dropped prices much lower and never gone back up. We'd immediately flip the trend against us, and this is the downtrend that we have to worry about right now. Invalidates at 275 as of right now and dropping. Current price is 233. We're still making new lows right now. 231 was our lowest. Can drop to 224. But we're just so oversold right now. And yeah, this is me getting liquidated at, what price is this? 220 something, I'm pretty sure it was. So that's gone. No more BitTensor for now. Halving event, my bottom dollar, okay? Didn't matter. None of it mattered. Who cares about a halving event? That's not bullish. What, do you think halvings are bullish? It should be, but clearly market doesn't care. Aptos, what do we do with you? 147, that is a new low, ladies and gentlemen. Current price is 148, almost 149. Breaking out of this support level, we're just oversold right here as well. I would expect things to slow down a little bit. Don't think we're going to rise at all from it, just a slowdown or lateralization at this level. Before tomorrow morning or something, we just continue dropping to 138. That's just going to be the next low. Still in a downtrend, invalidates at 172 as of right now. How is Aptos this low? This is like criminally cheap, and I don't like that. No chance of buying yet, by the way. I'm waiting for this to flip the thing around the trend, meaning that I expect Aptos to rise to 172 before I start considering any longs. As of right now, I'm just going to let it die. Doesn't mean I'm going to short it, especially not that it's oversold, because it's probably going to reverse against me. Even by a little bit, it'll bother me, so I'm not going to do anything about it. Can we know why we're actually dropping? Resistance, who cares about that? Altcoin liquidity drain is just happening everywhere then. Ecosystem growth versus price decoupling. What are we talking about here? We've had network upgrades, but they haven't translated into buying pressure. Okay. Oh, a lot of it is in staking. 71% of circulating supply is staked, which would create sell pressure during unlocks. It's just heavily inflationary as well. That's just another part of it. But this, like when we compare market cap, 1.11 billion, we have not seen that even at the worst times of 2023. We've seen this at like end of 2022, 497 million market cap. And even still, Aptos, you know what the price of Aptos was? What you think Aptos was at? Maybe $2, $3? No, it was at like $16. Okay, sure. And then, you know, with a $500 million market cap, or even $1 billion, it would have been at this point, I'm assuming. What was this peak? Yeah, $1 billion market cap. The price was $16 per Aptos token. Right now, it's $1 with that same amount of market cap, if not less. So it goes to show infinite max supply, a lot of it is in staking, a lot of altcoin weakness right now in general, but that inflation, it's killing the coin. So what do we do? Do we buy this thing anymore? I mean, we've seen it have a 7 billion market cap. That should still make a price rise a little, just a little, you know? We gotta wait for an actual alt season. Is an alt season even gonna happen? Did we even have one? Would you guys call that an alt season? Whatever we experienced, this excuse of an alt season? I wouldn't, dude. I don't know. I'm not convinced by it. This crypto cycle is weird. Too much manipulation. What do we even do with this anymore? Best we can do right now, ride the wave. Okay, that's all I have for crypto analysis, dude. I'm already almost done my stream. I don't have too much news either way to cover. So the biggest one was the Trump announcement that we just went over already. Kind of just, you know, shifting gears a bit, talking about that. He did post this on Truth Social, which we're going to discuss. This is why I thought, and a lot of other people thought, that we were going to get we're going to war with Venezuela, my fellow Americans, announcement today. But no, it was just guys, look, I'm doing great in the economy, okay? And military people are getting stimulus checks, so you can buy crypto. No, I didn't say that though. He mentioned everything but crypto. He mentioned the housing prices, employment, he mentioned oil. He didn't mention crypto. That sucks. I guess that's probably why we're not like mooning right now, but it's still good. Like it wasn't anything negative overall. At least the war wasn't announced, right? Okay, well, back to this. Trump posted this on Truth Social saying Venezuela is completely surrounded by the largest armada ever assembled in the history of South America. It will only get bigger, and the shock to them will be like nothing they have ever seen before. Until such time as they return to the United States of America all of the oil, land, and other assets that they have previously stole from us. A lot of people are questioning this, and they're like, what land, what oil has Venezuela stolen from the United States? What are you talking about, my brother in Christ? He goes on, the illegitimate Maduro regime is using oil from these stolen oil fields to finance themselves, drug terrorism, human trafficking, murder, and kidnapping. For the theft of our assets and many other reasons, including terrorism, drug smuggling, and human trafficking, the Venezuelan regime has been designated a foreign terrorist organization. Oh, there you go. There are now terrorists. All of them. You're Venezuelan, you're a terrorist. Therefore, today, I am ordering a total and complete blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers going into and out of Venezuela. This is underlined because this is what this post is going to focus on, which I'll discuss as well. He goes on and says the illegal aliens and criminals that the Maduro regime has sent into the United States during the weak and inept Biden administration, those are being returned to Venezuela at a rapid pace. America will not allow criminals, terrorists, or other countries to rob, threaten, or harm our nation. And likewise, we will not allow a hostile regime to take our oil, land, or any other assets, all of which must be returned to the United States immediately. Thank you for attention matter. Okay. Trump just embargoed Venezuela oil, heading to China is how we're interpreting it here. It's go time. All eyes on all eyes on China embargoing Taiwan Nvidia chips, maybe. Hey, we're stopping Venezuela from trading with China when it comes to oil. What if China does the same thing? What's stopping China from embargoing Taiwan to hurt our biggest company in the world, the Nvidia chips, right? One thing I noticed as well, and I noticed this from Polymarket, just on a side note, the fact that Nvidia is actually going to probably lose its position as the #1 stock company to Apple. Like, how crazy is that? What is Apple even doing anymore? And why are they rising in market cap? 4 trillion market cap. Nvidia's at 4.1 trillion. By the way, Nvidia used to be 5 trillion. The money is not there anymore. No one cares about it. Or it flowed to other assets. Gold is back at a $3 trillion market cap. Guys, the money exists, okay? Bitcoin can double or triple in price. It's just not going into Bitcoin. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys here. Dude, I wish this would let me track the market cap. Dude, we saw gold's market cap at, what was it, 24 or 26 trillion? Something like that. 4 trillion has already gone into the market of gold in, what, 1 month? The money is there. $4 trillion, you know what that could do to Bitcoin? If it's 1.7 trillion right now, it would triple that. About triple that, yeah. Even silver is just outperforming Bitcoin. I mean, fair enough. Silver is still at all-time highs. Dude, Robert Kiyosaki was right. The guy said at the beginning of this year, silver is going to hit $70 an ounce. Is it an ounce? Per ounce? Yeah, we're on our way there. Even if it's not specifically at 70, it's pretty close. $66.56. It's just on the rise and it doesn't stop. Same thing with gold. Are we like, is this all-time highs for gold? What was the all-time high? 4,400? Hello darkness, my old friend. It's 4,381, the all-time high, which we are pretty darn close to. The trend is in our favor. The war could happen. And just, in general, inflation, people not trusting the Fed, the weakness of the US dollar, yeah, all of this is contributing to gold being on the rise. And Bitcoin, nowhere to be seen. No one cares about crypto right now. And you should, so that when other people start caring, you can take advantage of that. Not financial advice, okay? Moving on from that. The reason I brought all that up was because, maybe Nvidia will get dethroned. And I noticed that because I saw a poll on Polymarket saying, what will be the top company by the end of 2025? Nvidia, Apple, or whatever, a bunch of other companies. And I saw Apple was actually like really close, like neck and neck with Nvidia. And I'm like, why is Apple so close to them? And then I checked the market cap prices and I'm like, what? 4 trillion? Apple? Why? Isn't the CEO stepping down and getting replaced and he's being the head of a different department instead, and then some people are shifting around there? I don't know what's going on with Apple. I haven't checked in on them in a while. Might have to do more research on that. Back to Venezuela. Trump's Venezuela blockade could legally be an act of war, but the White House is calling it something else. So we already know that they ordered a full naval blockade of the Venezuelan oil tankers and designated the Maduro regime a foreign terrorist organization. Under international law, that's basically an act of war. It's an act of aggression, what he just did, the blockade of the ports, according to the United Nations General Assembly. So how is the administration framing it legally? By designating Maduro's government as a foreign terrorist organization, rather than treating it as a sovereign state. They don't recognize it as a sovereign state. They think that Maduro was elected unfairly. There was some election rigging. Sure. We think that Machado should be the president, that the election was stolen from her. And hey, she even got the Peace Prize, the Nobel Peace Prize, which means that the whole world agrees indirectly that Venezuela is a corrupt regime. That's kind of what I interpret from all this. This blockade targets sanctioned oil tankers and stolen assets, framing naval interdiction as law enforcement rather than war. The legal sleight of hand, you're not blockading a country. You're interdicting a terrorist organization that happens to control one. Whether that distinction holds up internationally is another question, but domestically, it allows the administration to avoid seeking congressional authorization for military action against Venezuela. Yep, yeah, that's pretty much all there is. So we'll see how Venezuela does with all this. We're already talking about the next elections by now. According to a poll, apparently, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, man, she could be whatever she is, but she is just so dumb. I'm sorry, dude. She's just not fit for president, in my opinion. But, hey, the polls speak for themselves. She's at a 51% chance of beating J.D. Vance, 49% chance. If these people were to be nominated for the next presidential election in year 28. We got to wait and see for that. But at the time being, I mean, we've still got some Democratic nominees who is more likely to be who's going to be the representative of the Democrats as, how do I call it? The leader of the Democrats? The person who will be the president if Democrat Party wins? Okay, Gavin Newsom, 37% chance. AOC, 11% chance. And even with an 11% chance, she has a 51% chance of beating J.D. Vance, which is crazy. Josh Shapiro, 5%. Kamala Harris, 5%. And Pete Buttigieg, 5% as well. Don't know much about Josh Shapiro. Pete Buttigieg, I've heard some stuff about him, but I don't think is probably going to make it. Kamala Harris, she's got her ego inflated still. She still thinks she can run again to win the presidential election. I don't think so, dude. You're not going to make it. AOC has a better chance than Kamala Harris. I will agree with that. But if I was a Democrat, I'm not. But if I was, I would probably prefer Gavin Newsom. And there, I don't know. That's my little tip for the Democrats. Your guy that's most likely to win the election is probably Gavin Newsom. And I'm not a Democrat. I don't like the Democrats. I think Gavin Newsom is insane. But, I mean, I wouldn't be too upset, I guess, if Gavin Newsom was the next president compared to any of these other people. I don't know. I don't know about Josh or Pete. But yeah, I don't know. Either way, they're all crazy, okay? I'm not a Democrat. Elon Musk. The whole talk of, like, we're going to divide the Republican Party. They're all a uni party. We're going to make the American Party. I'm going to back anyone that goes against Trump. Trump is terrible. He's the worst. Blah, blah, blah. After breaking up with Trump, well, now he's just back to supporting the Republicans no matter what, okay? He's already begun donating to Republican candidates for the 2026 midterms that is coming up. So Elon obviously probably wants J.D. Vance to win. When it comes to, I'm talking about like year 28 election. We'll see. But midterms, that's what's upcoming next. So, yeah, we talked about this. Leverage is out of control, apparently, when we're also talking about this movement that we saw today. A lot of it was leverage. Because we have, in a candle like this that is green, you have more longs than shorts liquidated. Explain that. People are like, you can't have a decent pump in Bitcoin anymore because everybody's just max long behind it. And the moment a big guy takes the profit, it's a domino effect. Everybody crashes and loses their money. That's basically what I wanted to share with this post over here. Quantum computing threat. Let's go. We've talked about this only for like a million years since Bitcoin existed. People are thinking that the quantum threat will send Bitcoin under 50,000. We've got this rando, Charles Edwards. I honestly don't know who he is. I'm sorry. He says Bitcoin will be sub 50,000 if it doesn't upgrade against quantum computers. He warns it would be the biggest Bitcoin bear market in history. Wow, it's almost like saying the one big beautiful bill, but it's anti-beautiful. I don't know, biggest Bitcoin bear market in history. Funny. Sailor had some comments to say about this. The Bitcoin quantum leap. He's saying that quantum computing, it won't break Bitcoin. It will harden it. The network will upgrade, active coins will migrate, and the lost coins will stay frozen. Security goes up, supply comes down, Bitcoin grows stronger. That's how do I say it? I'm getting distracted by this thing. So he's thinking that, yeah, we're just going to upgrade to a more secure network from Bitcoin. I don't know how that's going to happen. I'm sure people will have to vote on that. The SHA-26 encryption thing will probably be destroyed by quantum computing, but we can upgrade the whole network to avoid, you know, losing the encryption thing. And whatever is old will become frozen. So we're talking about like Satoshi era wallets, even Satoshi himself. Looks like Sailor supports freezing Satoshi's coins if quantum computers materialize into a real threat. What if Satoshi purposefully left those public keys exposed as a bounty for quantum computers? We have no right to freeze his coins. It's another good point. What if we just leave it there? If your bitcoins get stolen from quantum computing, I don't know, they're taking it like a you deserve it kind of thing. Upgrade, lol. Who knows, dude? Maybe then Satoshi will move his Bitcoin around eventually. And I don't know, the odds of that are kind of on the rise as time goes on in Poly Market. Satoshi. Come on. Am I spelling his name wrong? Give me the... Fine. Will Satoshi move any Bitcoin by? That's the thing. That's the poll for Poly Market. Why is this so slow? 1% chance of by when? By 2025? Obviously he's not going to move. There's only like less than 15 days left. Why did this rise so much? 15%? When did this happen? It was in October. Funny. By when? What is this poll? This does not make sense. Where's the... I just don't know how to use Poly Market then. Okay. Will Bitcoin replace SHA-256 before 2027? That's something I could probably get behind. The encryption service. Because by then, I don't know, year 27, maybe quantum computing becomes an actual thing. That's just too common. We'll see, dude. I don't know. That's just other stuff. Who cares about it? We don't got to worry about it for a while, okay? Don't worry. Coinbase announces stock trading rolling out on Coinbase in the US. You're late to the party, my guy. Crypto.com already does that. But hey, Coinbase doing it too. Just another way to buy stocks. Another way. They want to be like the everything app, I guess. Sure. Solana is the most watched blockchain in 2025. And that's why I think it's still... I don't want to say it's strong because we're at literally 123, but it's pretty strong. Like, it's not dropping like crazy. We're not making new lows. Although we are lower than October 10, but who cares about that? Who knows, man? CoinGecko data reveals Solana attracted more user attention than any other major network in 2025. This is like a... What do we call this? Blockchain wrapped for 2025. Based on on-chain narratives and activity, not just price alone. Good. We love Solana. Next on the list, by the way, was Base Network, and then Ethereum's blockchain. And then Sui. And then Binance. You see what I'm saying? Why is Binance making all-time highs and then Sui is just making all-time lows? What are we doing here? Forget it. And on top of that, Visa adds USDC via Solana. Visa will now allow institutions to settle transactions using Circle's USDC on the Solana blockchain. I don't know how they're going to do this, but that's great. Or adoption. All right. That's all the news I had for today. Pretty good day. Not the fact that Bitcoin is dropping or anything, but I'm talking about the stream. I'm really happy with my stream. I feel like I'm getting better every time. Don't you agree? Okay. I'm going to have some more cookies over here. And yeah, tomorrow, big day. Arguably bigger than today. Bank of Japan interest rate hike. Imagine if they don't. We erase any downtrends we have. Bitcoin 90,000 plus guaranteed. It would be great. Hey, maybe we'd even push 100K. No, I don't think it's going to be that good, but if we maintain rates for Bank of Japan, or maybe we're just, it's a futile attempt, we're delaying the inevitable. Maybe that would be the mood. What do we do here? We're also getting inflation data tomorrow morning, so keep an eye out on that. Oh, it looks like inflation is at 3%. Okay. Well, I'm getting my numbers wrong then. Last time I checked, this thing was at 2%, 2 point something. Oh, we've been higher. I was looking at June data then, because this is the kind of inflation I've been looking at. 2.8, something like that. Okay. What about this? Or I think it's this one. This is what I've been looking at. 2.7, 2.9. It seems like September was at 3% inflation. Why did I never see that? Or maybe I just forgot, honestly. But yeah, that's what to expect for tomorrow. And we'll be looking at this live, of course. Literally 12 hours from now, we'll be either celebrating or drinking alcohol. I don't know. What do you do when you're sad? I don't drink. It's gonna be my first time. Nah. Okay, that's all for today then. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something new. And oh, I gotta charge my phone. I will see you guys tomorrow then, okay? Have a great rest of your evening.